honor and commit to ourselves, and
Mm.
really listening to that inner guidance, that inner knowing within when it's time to move on and let go. Welcome to Healing Conversations podcast.
Podcast.
Yes. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to season 2 of Healing Conversations
Healing
podcast.
Conversations podcast.
Yes. Oh my God, y'all. We are so excited to be back. We are so just grateful to be back. We took some time to live life, and allow ourselves to grow during that time of absence. And excited to come back. And y'all, this season is about to be juicy, 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 juicy.
Popping.
We have some amazing guests lined up that are going to add so much value to these conversations. And of course, you're gonna get Sister Angelique and I that are going to come and bring ourselves and where we are as we do authentically and truthfully as we heal through conversation. So I am excited for season 2 and to be back.
Yes, and make sure you are sharing, you are liking, you are subscribing, you're doing all the things to engage with us, that you're reaching out to us to let us know what kind of conversations you want to hear about, what you're healing through. We're not doing our lives anymore. So if you want to engage and you want to be a part, let us know what you want to hear on these podcasts. It's definitely a pleasure to be of service in this way. And I'm looking forward to this conversation today. I think it's going to support a lot of people as we are stepping into our next seasons of growth and entrepreneurship and service and all of these different sorts of things. So I'll let Ray Mel start it off.
Yes, y'all. So as Sister Angelique said, this conversation today, I feel like it's going to really touch home for a lot of people because it's hitting us in a very in-depth way. And today we're going to talk about loyalty and honoring thyself, because a lot of times we get so lost in feeling committed to things and committing to situations that we forget to honor and commit to ourselves. And
Mm.
really listening to that inner guidance, that inner knowing within when it's time to move on and let go and allow the new things to come in. Because I'll share, as I always do, so openly, like I recently had some internet issues that I was facing, and I was getting signs along the path of releasing my old carrier. But there was a part of me that was so familiar with them. I know what the monthly charge is. I know how they are. And I've been with them, I want to say, for like maybe 6, 7 years. So that was a long relationship
Mm-hmm.
that I've been in with that internet carrier. And in the recent months, it just started to have lower quality, so much so to where like going on to Zoom and delays in the meetings and kicking me out of Zooms. And me, I personally, I work from home and I have my own business. We're entrepreneurs. So a lot of my business interactions and sessions are via Zoom. So our internet is what holds me up and allows me to be of service. And I try to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, I'm just gonna just give them a chance, give them a try. And I just kept delaying what I was being called to do, and it was move on and let go. And recently, I called the beginning of January, which we're in January 2026. We didn't even say Happy New Year, y'all. We all the way in the whole new year. But it started to get a little more less reliable in regards to like it really started to delay more intensely. It started to kick me out and it started to affect my business because I had to cancel sessions and certain sessions
Mm.
weren't as effective. And I called to like check in to see what's going on, and they told me like it's a tower issue and it's not much that they can do. And one of the reps that I spoke to, she was like, "Well, don't mean to say this, but if you want to go to a different carrier, you're more than welcome to." And when I heard that, my ego like came in like, girl, who you talking to? No, you did not just tell me. I've been a loyal customer for all this time. How dare you
Mm,
tell me to go into another carrier? So I didn't catch that sign because it was deeper than the rep telling me that. It was a sign that was from the universe, I like to say, that was telling me it's time to move on. So I bit the bullet. I'm like, okay, they tell me this window of time. I'm gonna see if that actually is what it is. Well, come the day that they told me that it should be more, the signal should be better. The tower that is near mines will be finished being worked on. And I noticed that day, I'm like, okay, I'm about to have working internet. It's gonna be smooth. No. It was still lagging, it was still dragging, it was still kicking me out. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I called back and a different rep I spoke to, he was like, well, maybe it's your box. So we'll just send you, you may have a defective box. So we're going to send you a new box and that should be able to fix the problem. So I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna get a new box, upgrade out here. No, it didn't. When I got the box, I was excited to set it up and I'm like, okay, I got a new box and it was saying an error code and I'm like, okay, well, let me call tech and they'll be able to walk me through it. But when I called tech, I was informed that I was out of internet just in general. Like there was a short outage because now my tower is being worked on. So there's nothing they can do. So at that point, I'm like annoyed because I'm like, okay, I cannot cancel my sessions for this week. I had to like cancel a session the week prior because it was just so hard to really have any type of interaction with the internet. And I'm like, okay, so this is costing me money at this point. So what can we do? And he's like, well, we can credit you for 10 days. That's the max we can do. And then he was like, and this is really beyond our control. It's not an AT&T thing, it's a tower thing. And I'm like,
mm.
okay. So he says, once again, I mean, I don't mean to say it like this, but if you want to go to a different carrier, you're more than welcome to. Once again, my ego is like, how dare you? How dare you suggest that? And I had to sit with it. And then the next day, I was starting my new class that I am teaching Vision Emotion Live, and I'm all excited and I'm setting everything up, and I have no internet. Literally like no internet. It comes time for class and I can't sign in and I'm kind of panicking and freaking out. And I finally am able to sign in to Zoom with my phone. Attendees are waiting to get in. They come in and I'm like, I'm in freak out mode at this point because I'm not in teacher mode. I'm in like, I have no internet. What I had set up is not what is happening. And I'm so grateful because my participants held me with so much love and grace and understanding. And a part of me wanted to like give up, but something was like, okay, what can you do? So after I like honor my emotions, process my feelings, pivot. So I was able to teach the class. I had to do it in my car, which was the last straw for me. Cause I'm like, now this is like affecting my professionalism in my business. So I just have to like just be open to like a new carrier. And the beautiful thing is life works in a way that it's meant to, meaning like that evening I was doing something. Normally I would like probably talk to a friend during the time, but they weren't available. So someone said, okay, look into this new character, look into our new carrier and see like what options do they have available. Not only was I able to immediately get a new carrier, sign up, they were able to get me equipment the next day. I didn't have to pay an installation fee. I didn't have to pay anything. And it was really like so seamless and effortless. But I had to be willing to release what I thought was being loyal to the carrier that was no longer of service to me. So
Mm,
I can get what was really meant for me. So when we speak today about loyalty and knowing when to let go, a lot of times we have a tendency to know that something has expired, that it's not moving forward, that it's hitting a wall. And we'll let that, well, I committed to this, I meant to do this. Why would I let go of this? But when it's bigger than you, it's not something you can understand why. You just have to really just be willing to do it blindly and know that beyond what you can see, what is meant is there waiting for you. And I'll end it there.
Mm, yes. Thank you for sharing that because I'm sure many people have had the experience of whether it's cell phone or internet or even like restaurants and stuff. Like people have this, we as people have a tendency to lean into loyalty. And you said something that I am more comfortable with now than I have been in the past, where it's like if something isn't serving me, then I'm gonna let it go. You know, there's a part of me that was like, oh, that's kind of, oh. And I had to think while I was listening to you, where did that come from? And it's this idea that people who are tyrannical or snobby or, just harsh people, they are willing to discard and throw people away at the drop of a hat. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to be that type of person. And so I think for a lot of us, there is that internal dilemma of, am I going to be seen as a rude person or a harsh person if I decide that something isn't serving me anymore and I let it go? And for me, I have found in the past that if people or things are not serving me, I do let them go, but definitely not immediately. it's it's usually pretty soon. I wouldn't say I've done years hanging on to stuff or people in situations. However, I do get the nudges and I'll be like, no, we're gonna try again. We're gonna try again. But like after the second or third time, I'm like, okay. And Spirit has this beautiful way of teaching me quickly. So it'll happen in like very quick sequential order. Um, and so I'm learning to be more discerning about recognizing when things are serving me or when they're pulling me down. Like you
Mm.
were saying with your internet situation, like at this point, it's costing me money. So I'm gonna need to make some decisions, right? And aside from money, things cost us stress, they cost us our peace, they cost us time. And these are things that we cannot just circulate, by getting another gig. These are things we have to, time you can't really get back, period. But like your peace of mind and the stress that comes onto your body when you're navigating challenging situations, like those corrosive hormones and chemicals and things that get pumped out because your mind is trying to figure out how to do the things and and the panic, that has to be undone. And that costs life, that costs livelihood. There was something that I read recently. I wasn't expecting to hit on this, but it was saying how we as conscious people, we have the awareness that things are costing us um, energy in a way that affects our body and our timeline here on the planet. And the example that they gave was something along the lines of, is trying to have control or power in a situation worth, you know, your kidney cells,
Mm.
essentially? Is it worth that, or are you willing to let it go so that you can have your life, so that your body can be healthy? And that really is a crucial math that has to be done, because a lot of us are running around on the planet not realizing that we are eroding ourselves, that we are slowly shifting our health into lesser and lesser degrees because we are wanting to be loyal to people or situations or jobs or companies or whatever. And this conversation is really important for me at this time as I am opening up my entrepreneurial journey and getting more into collaborations and things. And I was sharing with Raymel earlier how there's a collaboration that I am initiating, and it seems like I am doing more of the work of this than the person I'm collaborating with is doing. And I'm like, hmm, is this something that I should cut off? Or should I give this grace? Should I remain loyal? And I had a conversation with an advisor of mine who I trust, and I have been, you know, having these different types of conversations with for a number of years. And what they told me was, okay, so you had this first experience where they didn't really come through. You're having this next experience where you'll get to see how they come through. And then there's a third experience that's already put in place, already on the books to see how they'll navigate. And then you'll be able to have a better understanding of the way they move and to see if you want to move forward with this or if you feel like it's worth the energy. Because I have my own business things to do, right? Like I have my community program, I have my book that I am expanding out into the world, I have my keynote that I'm expanding out into the world. And I have a calling on my life to share my story and share my message to bring light into the lives of others. And am I willing to put that off to the side because I'm wanting to be loyal to this other person? And the answer for me is no.
That part.
Because spirit has been gracious with me. I have run from this idea of being an entrepreneur, being an independent business person for a long time. It's really only in this past year or so where I've really leaned into, okay, you are an independent contractor. You have a service that you are offering to people, and it is you who does the service. You're not going through an employer, you're not going through a rep, it's not a company that you're working for to work for someone else. Like people are coming directly to you for service. You are going directly out into the world to offer your service. And the idea of that was really intimidating for me because I was so deeply conditioned to be an employee and to be a loyal one and to be a good one. Like I was not going to be the one who was slipping. I was not going to be the one who was causing trouble, who was making mess. I was always the employee that 5 stars, 10 out of 10, great reviews, offer promotions because I was conditioned to be that way. And so when it came to me leaving my last job before fully stepping into this, I had that idea within myself, am I being disloyal?
Mm.
Am I putting myself first? Ooh. Am I putting my business ahead of this other business? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. As far as the loyalty situation, I mean, I hadn't done anything while I was with them to be dishonorable. I hadn't done anything since I left to be dishonorable. So, no, I haven't been disloyal at all. However, I do need to mind my own business. I do need to water my garden and make sure my
Mm.
plants are growing. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to eat. I'm gonna keep having to go over to my neighbors and be like, hey, you got some eggs, you got some sugar, you got some flour, you got some fruit, you got some veggies, you know? And I know I don't need to live that way. I have released that conditioning from my life. And we often have this tendency to think that the way we've been living life before is the way that we're supposed to live life all the time. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of y'all have been there. I know Raymel has been there. You know, we have had to make this choice and this shift to navigate into a different space of being. And it is a challenge. It is scary. There are lots of unknowns. You really have to have faith in yourself. And for me, the way that I have built that faith is by understanding that my needs must be met and it's okay to honor myself. And that I also, again, have this service that I'm offering to the world that the world needs. And if I'm not going to offer it, no one is going to offer it because no one can give my unique, specific gift. And I will land
Mm.
that there.
Mm. What a beautiful place to land it. And what really came through as you were sharing, I like to unpack things because the tip of the iceberg is the situation, but underneath the water is where the vibration is that keeps us in the attraction of what it is that we continuously experience. And even as we're talking about letting go, when you really dig deeper, we're letting go of this idea that we have to settle, letting go of this belief that if I do this, then there won't be anything that will replace it. And it really stems to, and we always talk about this, especially in the space of healing conversation, is it all comes from our childhood. Those patterns, those habits, those ways of being is what we knew and seen and heard and experienced as children. So a lot of times it's hard to let go and it's easy to stay loyal to things, situations, and circumstances because of this fear. This fear of, well, this is all I know, so what will happen? And that loyalty, a lot of times we may be loyal to the wrong thing, the wrong people, the wrong type of situations because we hold that word a lot of times so high, even though we feel low while being loyal.
Mm,
And a lot of times it's our younger selves that's like trying to tell us, this ain't for me. I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. I don't feel excited. But being that we have held on to these programs and operated by these systems for the majority of our life experience, that's where it's the tug of war of I want to let go, but I'm holding on, and we're fighting ourselves. And then that's where we're gonna stick to it. Like for me with the internet, I stayed in the loyalty, even though it wasn't being of service to me. But there was this like, well, I know this, so why am I gonna go to something else that I don't know? And that was the I had to really sit with after like I went through the whole process of releasing. I noticed that there was this fear of, well, I don't know how this new carrier is going to be. I don't know if I can trust them, if it's going to be too good to be true. And I had to really sit with there's this fear of, because coming from the upbringing and background that I come from, like we didn't have much. So we held on to, well, me, I held on to things because I didn't know when the next thing was going to come. So that was like that lack mentality that I don't know if I want to, it's not abandonment, but it's that limited, that limited of, well, there's not enough, so let me just hold on to something. And as I'm emerging, as I'm expanding, as I'm growing into a new identity, I have to remind myself that that isn't how I operate. That isn't how I take action. That isn't my new belief system. And that's where the work comes in because it's not something you just magical abracadoo, boom, this new system and habits and programs emerge. It's through the repetition. So it's reminding myself through words that I tell myself, Ramel, you don't have to settle. You don't have to take what you can get. You can get what you want. You deserve to have something that is aligned and valuable to you, and you don't have to take the scraps and the handouts that are given to you. And telling myself that, reminding myself that, getting familiar with those words, but also the feel and tone of that. Because often we can tell the mind so many things, but if the body isn't in alignment with the feeling,
Mm.
we don't allow it in because we don't know what that feeling is. So we're like, well, though I hear these words and they got me a little gassed up and juiced up, I know that feeling. So I got to go back to what's comfortable and familiar. And having to I know the feeling of knowing how to turn something that is complicated into what I feel comfortable and at peace with. But I'm really not at peace. And I'm really not, well, in a sense, I'm comfortable, but it's not comfort in a way that is of service to me. It's a discomfort that I made comfortable. So that's where it's like knowing that I deserve to have a comfort of, and this is the visual I'm getting right now. Instead of me sleeping on the air mattress, I can get an actual bed that's soft and fluffy that allows me to have a good night's sleep versus tossing and turning because of that comfort of just having a bed. And that's just an analogy. That's not where I'm at or what I'm experiencing, but it's just to give you a visual of like when I say we can be comfortable on an air mattress, but we can be in true comfort on a bed. And a lot of times, air mattress is whatever that thing is that we are feeling stuck in, that we're just like, well, it's something. Versus no, I deserve more than something. So it's really reprogramming ourselves to know that you don't have to just settle. And letting go isn't a bad thing because as you were sharing, like a lot of times when people release or let something go, it can be from that energy of anger, animosity, confliction, confrontation. So it's that like, well, I don't want this to be how it's perceived. How it is received is beyond our control because we can do it in the most loving,
Hmm.
gentle way. And the other person or thing can receive it in a way that is not even what our intentions is. So that's what I have to learn from me. How someone receives your actions, you can't control that, but you
Mm.
can control how do you take action is within your control. So a lot of times we are in inaction because we're like, well, would they say? What would they think? How would they receive it? Versus if this is what I feel called to do, like I still got to call the old carrier and let them know, like, I got a new side. It wasn't me, it was you. I tried to hold on. I held on as long as I could. But I
That's
can't anymore. I gotta let it burn.
okay.
But it's like knowing
Mhm.
when it's time to let it go and honoring that, y'all, that's where the work is. And that's where I invite you all as we're sharing with you all, like we're putting in our reps.
Mhm.
Put in our reps, but know that it's not easy. It doesn't feel good. But on the other side, it starts to get easier to have those difficult conversations and to not put yourself in those situations that make you feel stuck. And it's not going to always be something you're excited to do. But when that nudge is coming and that phone keeps ringing, if you keep pressing decline, it's gonna find its way through some way, shape, some form, somehow. So.